Yeah.
Word up. You know what I mean? Back online. You know what I'm saying? Just just get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Get your shit together. Greater non-denominational fellowship by the wayside. Taco Bell. Non-GMO. Ringling Brothers,
Non-GMO.
Bond and Bailey. Yeah, Ringling Brothers, Bond and Bailey. You know what I'm saying? What we got? You know what I mean? X-Men. You know what I'm saying?
X-Men Academy.
X-Men Academy. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the main things that I've been paying attention to is, dimensions. You know what I'm saying? And the bringing together between the two realms of duality. From the logical to the spiritual or illogical. You know what I'm saying? The only reason it's illogical is because people haven't spent enough time in spirit to make it a new level of logic, if that makes sense. We're used to seeing, I see a chair, you see a chair, must be a chair. You know what I'm saying? But belief, as they require in, spirituality, mainly, Christianity always talks about belief. Belief is the gateway to knowing. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe that there's something deeper behind something that's in front of you. You know what I mean? There's a statement that says things aren't as they appear, things are as they are. You know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time.
People say, don't judge things by as they appear to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deeper aspect. Things aren't as they appear, they are as they are. In other words, if you get past the appearance, my, what big teeth you got, Grandma. You know what I'm saying? Little Red Riding Hood metaphor. My, what big nose you got, Grandma. What big eyes you got. What big ears you got, Grandma. And the wolf jumps out of the mask and you've been tricked by the appearance. We're caught up under the illusion of logic. Logic has become the world that you identify with. When you begin to study esoteric information, you know what I'm saying, and compare Eastern to Western philosophy, you begin to see there's a lot missing in religious dogma in the West. You know what I'm saying? And so, when you begin to study, you know what I'm saying, show thyself approved, as they say, you get a chance to look through lenses of illogic relativity or illogic wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Things they decode themselves. If you stay long enough and you begin to trust what you feel about a situation rather than what it is, what it appears to be, you begin to gain more trust in your hunches. You know what I'm saying? And that's a spiritual realm. We're so used to the world of logic that things, you gotta see it in order for it to be true. You know what I'm saying? But there's nutrition in an apple. Science proves that there's molecules, and certain molecules feed the biological, health of your body. That's the purpose of eating an apple. Some people eat an apple and they like the way it tastes, but it actually has a health benefit to it. And that health benefit is the illogical realm. You start dealing in the elemental realm. And the elements are dealing with minerals. You're dealing with elements like water, earth, air, fire. You know what I'm saying? And these are the unseen or uncalculated makeup of the physical body. Now, when you're dealing with the physical body, you're dealing with, of course, ancient science has broken down the chakra system. You know what I'm saying? From the base to the crown chakra. But we can even go into the 3 dimensions of the body, which is the solid, the liquid and the gas. You know what I mean? Ice is a form of water. Then you have the liquid, which is the water. Then you have vapor, all different realms, you know what I mean, of molecular density. You know what I'm saying? And so the physical body would be compared to the solid as flesh. The water or the liquid would be the blood, and the spirit or the vapor, you know what I mean, is the same. Spirit and vapor. You know what I'm saying? So what does that have to do with anything? How does any of this, you know what I mean, how is any of it, you know, relevant to help you maneuver through life? You know what I'm saying? It'll help you be able to see beyond the flesh. It'll help you to see beyond, you know, a person standing in front of your face and they may have a smile, but you sense something different. There's an ulterior motive in front of you. And it's a faint hint, you know, nudging you, a hunch that you have that you got to trust. But we're so used to trusting what I see and what's in front of me. In order to move from solid, liquid to gas, you know what I'm saying? You know, you go into your chrysalis, you go into your meditation, and to be able to, you know, deposit more, more standing evidence, more calculated evidence based on experience, more evidence in the spirit world. Then you begin to move beyond the flesh. You begin to resurrect yourself. When you nail the body to the cross, you put down logic and you pick up spirituality. That's the formula. That's the metaphor. That's the allegory in the picture of the image of Yahshua nailed to the cross. It's put down the body and begin to trust the unseen realm. You know what I'm saying? And so then you get into miracles. You know what I'm saying? Some people start off at coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Belief, faith. But they even tell you right there, faith is the substance of things hoped for, which becomes evident from the unseen realm. So it's all a formula, EMC square, energy times light times mass. It's telling you that the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis and it comes out as a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? So your physical body has to sit down and be still and meditate. And when you sit down and you slow your breath down and you begin to meditate, you begin to move from the flesh of the appearance into the realm that begins to discern. And you begin to pick up things that you had hunches about, and then it becomes verified. And then you can begin to trust in that realm. When you begin to trust in that realm, it's only because you start listening to your hunches. And remember, the brain is split, left and right hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? Masculine and feminine, one portion from your mother, other portion from your father. The mother is the spiritual, more spiritual, even though she's the matter maker. The word matter is connected to the word mother. Even though she's the one who makes the suit, the material suit, she's only making the suit for you to hold your spirit in a body so that it can come to the planet and experience material existence, so that you can begin to realize that there's something deeper than what I'm experiencing, what I am seeing in front of me. There's something deeper in my feeling, in my emotional body. And so we have to decode and begin to study esoteric information, because, you know, as long as we go to school and learn logic and we don't match logic as the result of something that came from a spiritual place, if we don't begin to see that the two are related and you're only getting one side of the coin, then you'll always be half. You know what I'm saying? You'll be a demigod. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you come into this physical body, depending on your bloodline and the awareness of your ancestors, what type of, you know, spiritual stories are passed on, what type of spiritual gifts are passed on. When these things are passed on from mouth to ear in the family as normal, then you're able to walk into the world and see past situations. You're able to discern on a person. And we have to begin to study discernment. We have to go to, if you do go to church and if that's your platform, you gotta press that pastor, you gotta press that reverend or that minister, you gotta press them so they can give you more. If all they're giving you is the surface, you can get that anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Anywhere. I repeat, anywhere.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta try the spirit by the spirit. And you gotta, not be afraid. You can't be afraid. A lot of people are afraid to talk about some of the things that are hunches, that are spiritual in nature, and they have spiritual talents, and people suppress them for fear of being ostracized or outcast. You know what I mean? They even got shows that like That's So Raven. You know what I'm saying? They call you a freak if you can prophesize. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole idea behind the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? Which Charles Xavier Magneto. You know what I'm saying? Magneto, I ain't worried about the humans. And Charles Xavier, you developed your abilities from being a human. There's a zero tolerance with Magneto. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, you could say Magneto would be Malcolm X, and Charles Xavier would be Martin Luther King. You could easily compare Magneto to politics and the government. You know what I'm saying? And Charles Xavier as the church. Even though Magneto is against politics as well, but his character trait is more unforgiving. You know what I'm saying? It's either you develop and survive, you know what I'm saying, or you proving that you are just doomed, you know what I'm saying, to fall under the jurisdiction to be judged by your ignorance. You know what I'm saying? The separation and the split of the left and right hemisphere of the brain actually opens you up to the realm of spirituality. It's actually a gateway that once you cross over through the pineal gland or through the heart chakra, when you move from lower chakra to higher chakra, you begin to experience things in the unseen realm. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start talking about this more and more. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going through an awakening right now. There's a shaking up that's happening on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Things are being shaken up. From Donald Trump being in office is a sign of, the heightened state of ignorance on the planet. To shake out the ignorance. You see the ignorance. You know what I'm saying? There's a harmony that comes with spiritual awakening, a spiritual consciousness or alchemy. You know what I'm saying? And when you get it, you begin to map out your pathway and calculate your steps. And your steps light up. Christians call it, God has ordered my steps. But it's really using your God mind or your good judgment, G-O-O-D, good, G-O-O-D, minus one of the O's is God. So basically, the relationship between the phonetics in the English language will show you the separation between, logic and spirit, synonyms and homonyms. You know what I'm saying? Satan speaks with a forked tongue. You know what I mean? All of this stuff right there, people are going to find on their journey to complete themselves. People are sitting around worrying about bills. People sitting around worried about how they're being received, relationships. They're not finding any answers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying all of the churches aren't delivering it. There may be some churches out there who can operate in the realm of Christianity and deliver a powerful message as much as it can through that system, but that system should graduate you beyond the book. You know what I'm saying? If they study their own word, hang on a second real quick.
All
Pause
right.
that. Because will it say on the same thing if we pause it? What's going in, Ax?
You was talking about churches being able to deliver. Some churches are able to deliver.
Yeah.
The word better than
All right,
others.
so you know what I'm saying. So let's rock.
All right, you go ahead.
So we ready? We good?
Yeah. Ready.
All right. So apologize for that interruption. You know, the main point of this, you know, deposit right now is to show people the separation of living from a logical mind in the limited world that you experience when you only operate from a logical mind. You know, education system, politics, mathematics, and science, all logic. And it's a valid place for logic because it's what's manifested. But when you reverse engineer, remember you're trying to quantify, you know, the unquantifiable. You're working backwards. You know what I mean? There's a flower, and so I want to break the flower down and look at the elements that are inside that make up the flower. So here we are in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You stub your toe, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? You get cut, you bleed. You know what I'm saying? You catch a virus, you get sick. You know what I'm saying? But all of that is a physical manifestation of something that started, you know what I'm saying, in spirit. You stub your toe, you miscalculated. You know what I'm saying? You catch a virus, you didn't have your spiritual immunity, you didn't have your immunity up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about vaccinations from pharmaceuticals. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, being proactive with the foods that you eat. See, when we talk about Christ and Satan, you're only talking about crystal clarity, Christ, or the ability to see clearly or beyond. And then you're talking about Satan. A lot of people, they want to talk about Satan and use a man with horns on his head, a pitchfork, and a tail, red man. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfair. It's a scapegoat. The name Satan should be accepted into the spiritual language as what it is. Satan is a definition, it's a description of the adversary. So when we bring it to that understanding under that microscope, you're able to see that this being, this red man with horns on his head, pitchfork in the tail, was an scapegoat so that you'll never realize the real culprit as you, as the adversary in adversity to good judgment. Satan, adversary. God, good. G-O-O-D, G-O-D. Good judgment is a higher realm. It's Christ, it's crystal. It's from your higher mind. Your higher mind is what you have to build up its stamina. No different than athletics. You have to build up your tolerance for, you know, lifting weights. You have to build up your breath for distance running. You have to build up your spiritual vaccination and use good judgment, because the flesh is ignorant. The flesh is only going to respond to that which it's exposed to repeatedly. You know what I'm saying? So then it builds up an addiction. Adversity. That adversity will end up causing you to reap what you've sown into the flesh. Smoking cigarettes gives you cancer. You know what I'm saying? Overeating, obese. You know what I'm saying? Oversexed, lust, craving for more of it. Ignorant flesh. Ignorant flesh. If we don't learn how to control the mechanism of the body and not learn or fail to learn how to operate from your good judgment or your God mind over the matter, mind over matter. If you don't operate in the Christ consciousness, if you don't operate in the unseen realm, thought, then you'll reap the experience of a material dimension. And your your reasoning factor is my craving is my God. I gotta feed the craving. I need that sugar because it makes me feel good. Rather than finding the pleasure that you seek through the physical addiction in your mind. This is what esoteric information is about. This is what the separation and alter egos are about. And until we mend the two together, we'll be incomplete. And so those of us who are operating in spirit, starting off at your kindergarten level, realizing that hunches is like smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So those hunches that you have will begin to open you up to experiences that transcend logic. Those experiences in the realms that angels operate in, the realm of the angelics, the realm of a more finer molecular structure, no different than solid as ice, liquid as water, you know what I'm saying, vapor as spirit. Most people are trapped in the flesh dimension. And so once you start paying attention to your hunches, therein lies the belief that they ask you to have. That's a prerequisite. Belief is the gateway from the solid to the liquid. And water is the emotional body. Water is related to the emotional body. So you move from the flesh, you know what I'm saying? What you do on your flesh moves your emotion. Emotions are energy. Stub your toe, I feel the pain. It moves my energy from pleasant to, displeased. I'm going to displease my energy. My frequency has been disturbed because I damaged or caused some type of trauma to the flesh. So if you calculated correctly and weren't careless as you walk, which is God is, calculated. When you operate from your God judgment, there's no room for mistakes. So you move from the results of the flesh. The flesh is in alignment with your mind. So to give it a clearer pathway, we have to be able to bridge the gap between these realms. It's our job to blend them together, to bring them together. And in this world, they tell you to walk on the light or the dark side. That's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? In order to be a whole person, a whole being, you have to understand that out of the darkness comes the light. You know what I'm saying? African culture, I forgot what African culture it was specifically, but I ran across some reading that the tick and the tock of a clock is filled, it fills up the empty space, but the empty space is also calculated. So in African mathematics, they say 1 plus 1, but the emptiness or the plus that they're talking about is a placeholder. It's space, and it has to be calculated as important as the volume. What does this have to do with any religion? Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. What does that have to do with anything? Well, how does knowing this change my life? I mean, we could sit up here and sound deep for deep's sake. Again, we're going to demystify the mystical. Meditation is a place where you go to so you can start again. It's the no thing, the nothing. N-O, no, thing, T-H-I-N-G. In the space of darkness. There is no thing there. The realm of calculated volume starts in the realm of summing or summoning. Addition is called summing, S-U-M, to sum, to add. But you add volume to space. There's a parking lot, an empty parking space, so I can park my car in that empty parking space. If there's a car in that parking space, I can't fit my car in that parking space. In your mind, if you have a bunch of meaningless thoughts running around in your head, you have no room to fit anything of substance there. So therefore, you bring your judgment or calculate decisions from a dimension and a realm of nothing but meaningless songs and meaningless thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You can't draw from a place of God judgment or good judgment because you spend most of your time filling up the empty space in your mind with fleshly activities. So therefore, the running concurrent thoughts in your mind are, how do I continue to feed this addiction? They occupy and preoccupy your mind with hooks in songs, and they call them hooks. So you're in the space of your mind is echoing meaningless data. The data in your mind is supposed to help you move through life and dodge the obstacles that come your way, whether it's physical obstacles. You can drive down the street and you know how to move out of the way of a branch in the street. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can play football and you run and you can juke your opponent and have a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? But there are also other realms that we have to learn how to juke. That's the realm of politics. We stop playing that game. You have to learn how to operate in these realms. You have to learn how to operate in the realm of pushing paper on your behalf in the court system, because the court system is set up for those who fall in the jurisdiction to be judged. The whole church system, the whole educational system is there to only focus your mind and your eyes in the realm of law from man. And those laws are put in place to catch you in violation of man's law from their logical perspective. In fact, the court system is there to catch you like a big fish net in the sea, like Finding Nemo, catch you in violation of law because you didn't govern your emotional body. Think about most crimes. Most crimes are committed by your emotional imbalance, your miscalculation, a judgment. Whether it's a domestic violent crime, it started with emotion, which can turn into crimes of passion. Whether you're speeding, the high that you get from speeding was induced either because you're late for work, you're trying to get somewhere, and you didn't use the good judgment or the God judgment. See, the court system has laws in place no different than you wouldn't pick up a black widow. If you wouldn't pick up a black widow in nature, why would you speed in your car? Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So a lot of the persecution that we subject ourselves to is from us not honoring and respecting that jurisdiction. Now, I'm not saying respect in the sense that, this is, you can debate whether this is fair or unfair. It's in the eye of the beholder. When you look at the court system and the laws that are in place, the easy way around is to not violate those laws. But you could say that's unfair. Those laws shouldn't be there. Well, then that's the same as saying that Black Widow shouldn't be there. You go into the water, you get eaten by a shark. And you like, why was that shark there? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're in the shark's jurisdiction. They've created a system based on their essence. This is a vampire. This is a vampire psychological realm that's been put in place from a doctrine that originated from the judicial system. What's the point in any of this? So it doesn't go all over the place. What's the point in any of this? A spider web puts up a web to catch insects. Jewish people put up the judicial system to catch violators so that they can live off of you. It's the same thing. We confuse the fact that it's not a spider's web, but isn't it? It's the same. It's the same result.
Same thing.
It's the same thing, and we can't see the similarity between the traps. You know what I'm saying? You went into the waters, shark-infested waters, and expected not to get eaten. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z said, you ever wonder, you know what I'm saying, why the Jews own half the real estate in America? Remember what his response was? He said that's how they did it. In the OJ. You know what I'm saying? In the OJ joint, Story of OJ song. He said, you ever wonder why Jews own half the real estate in America? That's how they did it. Simple. Simple. Nothing deep about it. They set up a system in place, no different than fishermen that created a fish net so they can catch many fish.
He caught heat behind that too.
Oh yeah, but
he caught heat behind that.
Did he really? Did he really? I mean, did he really catch heat, or was that from the people who don't see that? See, this is about, when we talk about Illuminati and Masonry and all this stuff, is Jay-Z a Mason, all that stuff, really it don't matter so much what he is, more so than it is about what you are. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's how he's doing it. And by how he's doing it, he's speaking parables. And if you listen to his parables, you're able to see that this dude is talking from a realm that's his reality, and you've seen his evolution. I ain't bigging Jay-Z up on, he put his pants leg on just like all of us, one leg at a time. But you've still been able to watch this dude mature and survive the game, endurance. Again, y'all can refer back to Metaphysical Science of Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? And see that there's a lot of hidden messages there. But we're going to demystify the mystical. You know what I'm saying? This Illuminati stuff, the word Illuminati only means to illuminate. And so when you illuminate something, you shine light on it and you can see it better. You can see it for what it is. So, you need to get over this Illuminati stuff. Even Beyonce mentioned that. What is it going to get you? It's going to hold up a lot of your time, you know what I'm saying, wondering if they Illuminati or not. The key to it is to illuminate yourself. You become a member of the Illuminati whenever you place knowledge in your mind. When you graduate high school, you become an alumni to that high school because you have, placed in your mind a certain level of knowledge. Knowledge represents light. So you're illuminating your mind, you know what I mean, to a certain level or a certain degree of knowledge that's going to help you move through this world. So we need to get over all of this Illuminati stuff. Take the advice of Beyonce and get over it, because you're spending too much time in it, which that also can become a trap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Christ has a halo around his head, an illumination. So, you know what I mean? Christians say, seek the light, in illumination. They just use the word of illuminating, and now it's synonymous with evil. No, the word can go either way. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? What are you doing with your light? What are you doing with your light? How are you spending your light? And in meditation, when you decode words from the parable, you are able to see how free will can be spent on negative and free will can be spent on positive. So even the word light in meditation, when you take the word light into meditation, you're able to see through phonetics that L-I-G-H-T, light. But if I tell you to spell the word laugh, L-A-U-G-H, since when does the G-H have the sound F? Why is G-H pronouncing F? Laugh. So when you go into meditation, you begin to start going through alchemy and slowing your life down. A lot of things come to you in the spirit. You're able to calculate your moves in the world more easily. You know what I'm saying? And so L-I-G-H-T, if I remove the T, light becomes life. So how do I spend my light? My life should be a dedication to acquiring knowledge, which transforms as light. Michael Jackson showed you this in Billie Jean when he's walking down the sidewalk and the sidewalk lights up. He's telling you the road to where you're going, the time you spend in this life, your life is your light. What kind of light are you emitting? What kind of aura is on your body? What kind of halo is around you? You can fall into the lower chakras below the heart chakra, which is the cross, or the middle section where Christ resides. That's why Christ is always pointing at the heart. Heart, H-E-A-R-T, remove the T, H-E-A-R, here. Here, H-E-A-R, remove the H, ear. So from your inner ear of discernment, when you go to that, when you refer to that more, you begin to listen to that discernment, you begin to experience a reality that transcends logic. So now my relationship with God or good judgment is becoming the new reality. My pathway just lights up. L-I-G-H-T, remove the T. My pathway is full of life, and I'm experiencing this good or God life from the spirit realm or the unseen realm. You can't see judgment. You can't see thought. Things aren't as they appear. Things are as they are. So you have to live from that calculation so that you get the result you're looking for. Otherwise, you are surrendering your life. You are surrendering your light to vampires who are going to kindly take that offering. They're going to kindly take that because they have a system set in place for you to violate your God-given or good judgment or your God-given right to become an entrepreneur, to operate outside of the arena where I'm offering my life to them. I'm offering my light. See, that light is energy. And so if you give your light or your life over to an occupation, occupy, they're occupying your life's energy, and you're spending your life's energy like a carbon battery. And carbon is on the elemental chart or the periodic table is 666. 6 parts carbon, 6 parts hydrogen, and 6 parts oxygen or nitrogen, one of those. So what we're talking about is Star Wars, the dark side. Luke, I am your father. See, it's basically saying out of darkness comes the light, but the light is egotistical. It doesn't want to, it's enjoying itself in the flesh. It's enjoying itself with, lust. It's enjoying itself through gluttony. It's enjoying itself with decorating your flesh with jewels. It's enjoying the attention in the light because the light is shining on you. And you're feeding on that. Thus, the response when Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, when Darth Vader is like, Luke, I am your father. He's like, no. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Eddie Murphy and Nutty Professor, Buddy Love. Buddy Love didn't want to give up and go back to being Professor Klump. See, this is all about your true essence, who you are, and how many times throughout a day and over your lifetime do you surrender your true self to go and do something to feed the system that's feeding on your light. And you don't even want to do it. You spend 20, 30 years and they don't give you anything back for it because you didn't take that life or that light, which is a power, it's a source, it's your essence. And you could use that light to sow seeds into a thought that you originated in the darkness of your mind and meditation, and it will come into existence. You just got to work at it a little bit. So you have to nail your flesh to the cross. You have to nail your body to that cross. You have to sit down and assess and say, how much am I going to get paid from manual labor? When will I break the ceiling of my financial obligations? How much time will it take me at X amount of dollars that you get paid an hour? How many years will it take for you to break the ceiling to gain your freedom from ever having to do any type of manual labor ever again in your life? You're basically a slave to the flesh. Born into it, and you'll die as a slave. If you do not realize that the Yahshua or Jesus on the cross, nailed to the cross, is really about the transition from manual labor into intellectual or spiritual property, and operate in that realm where your lifetime becomes a testament because you've been tested in your flesh. What are the results from the test? The test is, I've been working all these years, and all I got is over these 15 years is maybe a $5 raise. So the test is to realize that it's not going anywhere. You're trapped in the realm. Cross over from the flesh and resurrect yourself through alchemy. Stop being afraid to study this information that's beyond exoteric, the surface church sermons. Do not be afraid to study any and everything. Even if you're a Christian, walk in the light of Christ protecting you, but don't leave any stone left unturned. Try the spirit by the spirit if you're Christian. Any of you Christians that are out there, be the best Christian that you could be. Yeah, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil, for thine is with me. Thy rod and thy staff shall comfort me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forevermore. Is basically a formula. You shouldn't have any fear if you're a Christian and you stand on Christian principles, because Christ is with you. Don't just talk about it. Be about it. Study this information and prove to yourself that operating from the Christian realm, operating from the Islamic realm, operating from the Buddhist realm, you have to prove that. You have to prove that Christ works. You have to prove that Allah, Muhammad works. You have to prove that Buddha works for you. Otherwise, you're just accepting the story as what they've been told, and those are old stories. Yahshua himself, according to his scriptures, even said the works that you do shall be even greater. So why are you wasting time sitting around complaining about your situation and your circumstances when the formula has already been laid out for you? You can't be afraid to study beyond the surface preachers or the surface ministers out here or imams. You have to go beyond what their breakdown and understanding of the parable is in order for it to become real to you. So there is no fear. When you go out and compare religions to Christianity and you stand on Christianity, then it should prove itself. It should prove itself in that testing, in that battle. Try the spirit by the spirit. That means if Christianity is a sword, then your sword is stronger than any other religion. But that Christianity should be a true reflection of what the word's supposed to mean, which is Christ. Christ is crystal clarity. That means that I see clearer than my opponent or my adversary. I see clearer. So when I go out and I study, cross-reference, and see where else God has God's footprint, so to speak, you're able to move beyond the entrapment of religious dogma. You're no longer trapped in kindergarten. You're not claiming the title that I'm a Christian. It's bigger than being a Christian. Christ was never a Christian. That was a term that was given and placed on Christ. And even correcting Christ means anointing. So when we study the story of Yahshua, who was anointed, Yahshua Christ or Jesus Christ, Jesus the anointed one, that means that he reached a level or came to the planet as an immaculate conception. That means that, you know, that birth from a virgin means that even in the virgin didn't have any contenders in the mind. So therefore the child would inherit a clean slate of thinking. There was no lust there for the child to deal with as the child grew up. Because remember, the sins of the father, the mother passed on. So basically we're talking about genetic responsibility. You're the watchman or the watchwoman over your own DNA records. You're the watchman over your DNA records. So therefore you don't pick up and adapt any addictions on your journey that your children are going to have to inherit. Because you was out at the club lusting. You don't know how to, you know, control your emotions. Man, this is a hunting fest right now. And all of these hunting fests are, you know, trying to satisfy a craving. You know, people are really craving on a high level like bloodthirsty wolves. You understand what I'm saying? Like you're craving lust so much that you'll risk catching HIV. So you're not using your good judgment, your God judgment, because your mind isn't over the craving of the matter, the material body, the flesh, which is supposed to be nailed to the cross. You're supposed to nail that addiction and that craving, that urge, and that sensation to the cross. You're supposed to walk away from that addiction. And detour your future. You keep moving in the realm of addiction, you're going to reach a dead end. You nail the craving to the cross. You nail the flesh to the cross. You put your mind over it. You got to be healed in the mind first. You know what I'm saying? If somebody has psoriasis of the liver and the doctor says you got to stop drinking, but you say, doctor, I just love the taste of it, then that's your battle. The doctor has nothing to do with that. Just delivering the diagnosis. You have to put your mind over the matter. Remember, the flesh is ignorant. You know what I'm saying? The flesh is only going to, build up an addiction for that which you expose it to. And some people can cold turkey these addictions. Good for you. For those who can't cold turkey, you need mantras, chants. You need to psychologically hijack yourself. You know what I mean? To retrain your thinking or resurrect yourself. Otherwise, you're creating a hell on earth for yourself. So, out of this whole conversation, by now you should be getting the fact that this world is a place where you materialize that which you think about, then your free will create heaven or hell on earth. It's all up to you. Ain't nobody to blame no more. All that's erased. Stop it. Cut it out. Knock it off. You know what I'm saying? People waiting on Jesus to come save them or Yahshua to come save them. They said the works that you do. You got to overcome your addiction. Now, of course, you can call on any of these angels. You can call on Yahshua and the spirit will come in. But why does it come in? It comes in because those angels or Yahshua as the savior, as they call him, is supposed to come in with the high morals. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? You still have to change your thinking. You still have to change your thinking. Even in scriptures with Yahshua or Jesus, when he was healing people, he would ask first, do you believe? Transforming your body into a receptor. Because if you don't believe, your doubt will block the healing, nigga. Your doubt will block the healing. And remember, doubt is debt. There's a depletion in your trust or your wholeness or your holiness. So you block the opportunity to watch an energy move through your ley lines of your body, your ether body. Remember, the same way from solid liquid to gas is also from gas liquid to solid. So you can bring down the thought energy to operate through your acetylcholine and to operate through the electrical energy moved by thoughts or emotions. Emotions can become so powerful, you will feel the energy and the tingling of love. Therein lies the unseen power, dunamis power, as they refer to it in scriptures. And dunamis power in scriptures is referring to potentiality into actuality, or EMC square, or faith without, or faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You're basically bringing vapor into liquid, into solid. You're bringing spirit into blood, into body. And when you leave here, you move from body through the blood, the energy, and into a spirit form. But what type of awareness did you achieve on the planet that's going to live inside your essence, inside your spirit, when the spirit leaves the body? Did the spirit only realize that death happens when the body stops breathing? Then you'll be earthbound. But if you knew that you've been operating from spirit and mind over matter the whole time, then you get into that spaceship or that light and you leave the body where it is. It's a formula. They've been keeping this under wraps for thousands of years and operating and keeping their system alive and keeping their bloodlines alive They're cunning. You got to get hip to this. You got to realize that as a man thinketh, as a woman thinketh, so shall he or she be. You got to go back to the imagination of a child. One of the ways to test out your ability to tap into God is when you dream. If you wake up in your dream and realize that you can alter your dreams. They showed you that in the movie Green Lantern when he went to Oa. And he had to battle all of those lanterns that were there first so he can build up his mind, so his mind would move through the ring and manifest whatever he was thinking about. So in the spiritual world, again, another movie reference to watch is the movie Inception. Inception is showing you how they would enter the dream world, alter the dream world. You have to be awake in the dream world. But what did they tell you? As a child, they give you little hints about this place that we're in. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So what's the difference in a doctor giving you a diagnosis and you rebuking it, and then the doctor says, I don't know what happened to your cancer. It just disappeared off of my x-ray. You transform this life into the dream the same way you transform the dream into what you wanted. This is all about mirroring, yo. This is all about thought consciousness. Double slit theory. Double slit theory. All of these rituals and things like that are just ways to help you stay focused and concentrated on holding a thought long enough that the ritual produces the result you're looking for. And everybody's pointing a finger, you know what I'm saying? Saying, we're right, you're wrong. Well, you tell me what's the difference in, you know, the depths of Africa and Nigeria, Benin, where they, you know, perform a blood ritual by slitting the throat of a bull or ox, you know what I'm saying, or a chicken, and they use the energy of the blood to feed spirits who are carnivorous. What's the difference between that and feeding the God that they talk about, where Abraham had to sacrifice his son? God asked for a blood offering. What is that? Why do they stand on a platform and say that voodoo is wrong, but that's performing voodoo? We got to wake up to this and question everything. And don't be afraid to walk away from things that no longer serve you. You can't be afraid to walk away from things that don't serve you no more. You know what I'm saying? So this whole call is really about recognizing that it's not about choosing the left or the right side, Republican or Democrat, the light side or the dark side. You know what I'm saying? Men's rights, women's rights. It's about the harmony between all of it, the balancement between all of it, and finding the calm in the middle. Calm in the middle. In the middle of a hurricane is calm. Calm, C-A-L-M. The L is silent. You're basically saying which is a derivative of Om. And in the middle is home, H-O-M-E, O-M. But even in the word momentum, which you generate from the Om or the zero time reference or the meditation, the realm of no thing, everything that swirls around your outside life, from your job to the girlfriend or boyfriend someone has, car you choose, the car note that you gotta pay. This is all the chaos around you. In the middle of that calm or that Om, you have masculine and feminine coming together, masculine and feminine, men and women. Mom and men. Momentum. Momentum. M-O-M-E-N-T. In the word momentum, you have mom and men. Still duality. You control those dualities. You have to exist in the middle in the pineal gland. You have to exist in the middle as the pineal gland so that you can be the common denominator or the Christ that sits in the middle. Or where Moses split the Red Sea, which is talking about the left and right hemisphere of the brain. And the pineal gland is the only gland that sits in the body of blood. Cometians are the ones that broke this science down, falsely called Egyptians. The word Egyptian comes from the word Egyptos, which means burnt face. Burnt face. The original beings that were there were Cometians. Kem means black. So the people that came and invaded Kemet and set up the dynasty, the Hyksos dynasty, Cleopatra and Mark Antony were fair-skinned. So they became burnt by the sun when they invaded an environment that was not conducive for them to live in. Thus the term, false term, Egyptian. Egyptian means burnt face. That's telling you that those beings became burnt by the sun because it was not their original environment. The Cometians were there. And those sciences that you see on the wall, from weighing the heart, all that's autopsy. All that's autopsy. They had science and medicine and surgeries. All of this stuff. They had electricity, light bulbs. So what dimension are we living in? We give reference to Alexander Graham Bell and what's your boy, the light bulb, Thomas Edison. For the light bulb, they reverse engineered this stuff. They found this. Remember, they're on the other side of the material. They're on the other side of the invention. They're not the originators of the invention. The gods are the ones that do that. Gods are the originators. God, good judgment, ones that had a good quality of thinking, great quality of thinking, unlimited quality of thinking. Infinity is darkness, and the boundless space of how we can continue to build momentum and move your energy or your essence into the next lifetime. Push yourself into the knowing beyond the doubt that my essence lives forever, because I know it does. Just off of the knowing, you transcend anything that's thrown at you. You rebuke disease, because I say so. But you got to trust so. You have to trust so. This place is not what you think it is. It's a wet paper bag that you can't punch yourself out of. Such a shame. And these are the same people that point fingers at everybody else who go beyond their traps. And they're the ones that's telling Master he running. When they could run and find shelter for you to free yourself from your slavery. You know what I'm saying? We're so quick to pull somebody down. Crabs in a barrel. Religions are the opiums of the masses. So when somebody display any type of ability through a higher form of reality, they're looked at as a freak, or the judicial system would burn them at the cross. Own your power, yo. Own your power. You know what I'm saying? Man, this hurricane took a turn, sharp turn. You ever seen a hurricane go to the left so hard and go south a little bit? I know people that we know, we were included in a group of people that was praying. Now, here's the thing. People say, well, how are you going to pray the hurricane away and it's going to go hurt somebody else? You know what I'm saying? But doesn't scriptures require you to know? Ask and you shall receive. As tough as it's and hard to hear, people who are in harm's way of the hurricane have just as much right to pray and ask it to move. What happened to rain dances? If you could bring the rain on, you could stop the rain. I mean, what else are you going to do in this world? You going to sit here and sit back and ridicule what I'm saying? Or is there something in you that entertains the possibility? And if it entertains the possibility that it could be true, I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? To begin to trust those hunches. Stop shutting down the fact that our grandparents are prophetic. And they tell you, I don't think you should go to this party tonight. I don't think you should get in the car with those people tonight. I think you should stop hanging with that crowd you're hanging with. And sure enough, it comes to pass. She has demonstrated the power of prophecy because she operates outside the realm of logic and she just feels it. Her vibration, her spidey senses is tingling and she sees danger down your road. All of these roads are probabilities and possibility routes. These routes are going to get you a certain result based on the thought that you're carrying down that road. And so the road to home or Om is an absolute realm. It's an absolute road. You know what I'm saying? That means I'm using good judgment and I'm getting good results. So when I go to sleep at night, I don't have to wrestle with a choice that I made. And if I do, I wrestle with it. I go to sleep. I dream about it. I come up in the morning. I wake up in the morning and I have an answer because I went back to the zero time reference. I went back to God. I went to the realm of no thing. There's nothing else for my mind to be entertained by other than the thought that I'm focusing on. I take the thought that I need to work on into my dreams, so I deal with that thought alone. I don't take a whole bunch of thoughts into my dream world because you're not going to know which one. You're not going to spend enough time on one of them long enough to get the answer on how you're supposed to handle it, how you're supposed to remedy it. If you don't realize from night to day, the middle realm of sleep is the state for you to assess. It's so simple and it's so complex. But if you follow this formula, get results. I haven't done a show in a while. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us get caught up in the world, physical obligations. You know what I'm saying? But if you listen clearly and if you're not afraid to study esoteric information, you know what I'm saying? I advise people to stay tuned as we continue to move and bring more information and more results, stories. You know what I'm saying? How you dealing with your books, John? What's going on with the information?
For what I've been getting, it's been dope. It's been dope. It's just putting it all into action. That's it. That's all I got to do.
Finding the time to do it. Mm-hmm. Finding the time to do it. That's why you have to create a space for it, an altar. You have to dedicate time. Otherwise, it'll just be information that you know about. If you're not applying it, you know what I'm saying? If you're not putting it in action, then it just be deep for deep sake. You know what I'm saying? So as people listen to these shows, you know what I'm saying? Just apply it. You know, don't be afraid to walk away from things that no longer serve you. If you're getting the results that you're looking for out of life and you're Christian, fine. You know what I'm saying? You stay right where you are. You know what I'm saying? Muslim, if it works for you and you're getting results. You know what I'm saying? Buddhism, if it works for you. The thing that I found that each one of those religions are different forms of expressions of the same energy that gives each of those religions power. Potato. You know what I'm saying? Tomato. Allah, Elo. Buddha, Bindu. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is applicable science. This is science that has to be taken into your own day-to-day research. You have to exercise your thoughts when you're against an adversary so you can see which greater truth prevails. They have to demonstrate that spirit is a realm that you operate in. When miraculous things begin to happen around you and around your family, around your life, then you're one who experimenting with thought. And you're transforming those thoughts into reality. Join the Research and Development Center, Gyst. You know what I'm saying? Come rock with us. And if you got signs around you that some of these things are happening to you, then you're one of the people that's awakening. This is like Charles Xavier creating an academy for you to come and develop your X-Men talents and abilities. Share your stories, document your stories, but do the work. Don't be afraid to venture off into the dark space of your mind and create new light, a new, like Billie Jean, Michael Jackson and Billie Jean. Walk on your light. Walk on your truth. Walk into the reality that you see for yourself. We're doing that. So, once again, just information. Appreciate everybody listening. You know what I'm saying? No long, drawing out, straight to the point. Drop it. Listen. Do the work. You know what I'm saying? What you got, Jonathan? You want to drop anything?